Okay, I'm live. I don't know if anyone's gotten here yet, but I am in my new place in Colorado, still trying to get settled. I think I'll give it a few minutes before I start chatting to see if you guys show up. um, hmm. Okay, I see 4 people have come. Hi. I'm waiting a little bit longer to get going. Good to see you guys. I'm getting all the hellos coming in through the chat. Thank you for the congratulations. So good to see you, chat with you guys, and see you in the comments. Oh, I miss putting out my videos in the mornings. It does feel kind of like, oh, something's missing. Hi from Delaware to Delaware. And to Massachusetts. I hope you guys are all doing well. Oh, I can't believe it's been almost a month since I was on trail. Like, I cannot believe, but it's only been a few days since I summited on YouTube. Thank you for the congratulations. I feel so thankful that I did it, and it still just like washes over me like randomly throughout the day, and then I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, I'm so excited. Oh, you guys like my hair? I got bangs. Bangs and then a second little ear piercing. Just to, change it up. Thought that would be fun. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I'm sorry to hear that your hike ended in injury. So yeah, if you guys want to put your questions in the chat, I guess I'll start with just my knees. I'll start with my knees because I've gotten quite a few questions like, are your knees healed? I'm pretty sure my knees are back to like 100% normal. I took like 5 days off of like any physical activity post trail, and then I started doing yoga every day, like a hot yoga class, which I feel like was really, really good. Just sweating out, just like getting a really, really good sweat and working out all the muscles that didn't get any attention at all while I was hiking, because you just like only work out the walking, hiking muscles, and then everything else is like neglected. So yeah, did some yoga, and then I had like a good 7 days of like nothing, which was sad. But I drove from Florida to Colorado in 3 days, and in the middle of that, I visited one of my best friends who lives in Chattanooga, Kendra, and so I had a day off in the middle of the drive, and yeah, so now I'm back into the yoga swing of things, and so my knees are like not swollen at all anymore. They've completely deswelled. I haven't gone on a hike yet, so I don't know what it's like hiking downhill. Steep down was like where it was most painful. But for the most part, I think I'm rebuilding like the full range of motion, and I think they're going to be back to 100%. So, okay, I think I get quite a few questions in the chat now. Yes, hopefully I answered the knee question. They're doing much better. Hi to everyone from all over the place. What do you miss most from trail? I think that I miss just like the steady just like routine, of like I'm really, really eager to get back into my home life routine, and moving to a new place, it's like it's still so transitional. But I miss the routine of, just like waking up, hiking, and just like doing the thing every day and being outside in nature. And just being so physically active. I think that I'm still kind of going through withdrawals of like my endorphins and dopamine. Like it feels like my body has like so much more energy to like keep going. Like I'll get done with a yoga class and be like, okay, now I need to like go for a run or go exert more energy, because now I'm like healed, I think, like for the most part, like my knees and stuff. I haven't done that. I've just been taking it easy, one yoga class a day. We'll be hiking again soon, but not yet. And I want to get into running soon, but also not yet because I don't have any running shoes right now. I might just run in my trail shoes. But yeah, I think like I miss having like using up a bunch of energy on the trail. So, scrolling through all of these comments, thank you so much. What was your start and finish number? I was 510 and ended at 19. You were just ahead of me. Oh wow. Aw, you had to have been close to 10. Yeah, so my start number was 164 at Springer Mountain on February 12th. And then my finish number, when I got to Harper's Ferry, I was numbered the 19th northbounder to have made it to Harper's Ferry. And then when I got to Katahdin, I was number 11. And I was the second female, and I mean, maybe the third actually, because my friend Snot Rocket, she also summited. It was Rainbow who summited. I think Snot Rocket summited first, but she had to skip some miles because of her visa. So I'm not sure how many miles she had to skip. So I'm either the second female or the third female to have summited. And I mean, none of that really matters. Like it just, like I don't know, I'm not trying to beat anyone else or like be better. I'm not saying that like I'm better than anyone else. Like I didn't make anywhere near, like my shooting for the moon goal for like the number of days it would take was 100. And I did it in 122. And that was still probably too fast for my body because of my knees. I needed to take time off like earlier and I didn't. And so anyways, I'm not like, I feel really happy and proud of myself with the number of days, but if it took another month, if it took another 2 months, I would still feel just as happy, just as proud. It's like not really about like, it's not necessarily about that for me, which I think most of you guys know. Okay, so many more questions. What's your next big dream hike? Well, I have done 1,200 miles on the Continental Divide Trail, so I would love to close the gap on the miles I haven't done on the CDT and then be a triple crowner. That would be so cool, but I'm probably going to do that in sections unless, I don't know, I get bit by the thru hiking bug for next year and then decide to dive all in. So that's unknown. I definitely want to like spend some time this summer section hiking the Colorado Trail and the Colorado section of the CDT, or get into like hiking 14ers, like the non-technical ones. I think that would be pretty fun. But yeah, otherwise I definitely want to do some hikes in Europe maybe next summer. I need to like look at a whole list of like what is possible, and I want to see what you guys are interested in seeing from me for different trails. Okay, ever plan on hiking anything in the Great White North, Canada? I would love to hike in Canada, like especially north of Montana, and I think Banff National Park is in north of Montana. That would be gorgeous. And then like British Columbia, like I feel like the mountains in Canada would be amazing. Are you sad your journey is over? I am sad in like this weird way because it feels like it just went by so fast. Like now that it's over, it's like, it feels like it happened in a blink, you know? And now, but when I was on trail, it didn't feel like it was happening in a blink, and it felt like I was pushing probably too hard because I think I was pretty happy. I was pretty happy to finish because I was just pushing so hard every day. Like you just kind of get beat down like when you're hiking every day. So I'm happy to be like able to be in a place where maybe I can be more balanced with hiking, and that's kind of usually how I feel like post trail. I don't know if I saw a comment here, but someone did ask about like post trail depression, because that's like such a real thing for a lot of thru hikers. It's like you have this big goal and you have like something you're working towards every single day that's like really important to you, and then you complete it and then suddenly you're like down and sad and you're not getting the endorphins or the dopamine from physical activity that you were before, and you're like, you've lost sight of like your goals are now like, well, what's going on? I'm back in the real world. Everything's so loud and the smells are so intense and people are so everywhere. And that's definitely real. I think I had a bit of post-trail depression like the first week, like the first week I was in Florida. I was struggling with like being sad, and I was so happy to see my sister and to see her kids and her family, and then to see my best friend and like lots of happy things going on. But I also just kind of had this like heavy sense of like just being sad, and I think it was, I honestly do kind of think it was just like adjusting to not being physical all day and having the endorphins of being physical all day, and just like I don't know, but I think it passed pretty quickly. I think that like I had to like get moving and get going, and so now it's just been like pretty busy. I've just been moving. Leffy actually helped me move, so that is awesome. He had some time off from work still, and so yeah, it's been awesome. We've been able to hang out, and that's been nice because it doesn't feel like I'm totally lost out on every part of the trail. Trying to hang out with Coyote hopefully this summer sometime when he's moving, but we'll see. Let's see if I can jump onto another question. I'm so sorry if I missed your questions, but hi to, especially, well, hi to all of you guys, but so many of you have been commenting on all my videos, and yeah, I feel like I recognize your names, and I appreciate that. And I have like the last few videos, I was really taking a step back from just like being online. Like my videos were going live, but I was also off the trail and just trying to decompress. So I apologize if there were comments that I didn't read or respond to in the last couple weeks, especially just because like I've been taking like a step back from social media and just trying to like reorient myself. But I so appreciate you guys, and then I have been trying to catch back up and like read through comments and stuff, and that's so great. Yeah, did my journal recover from the flood? So yeah, so my journal got all wet, and then maybe most of you saw this, but my journal got all wet in one of the downpours, I think right before, like in Maine sometime. We tried to dry it out by putting paper towels in between each page, and then I sent it to my sister's house, and it was still damp. And so she replaced all the pieces of paper towel, which was really sweet because I didn't even ask her to do that. I was like, just take it out of the Ziploc and like put it somewhere dry and it'll probably be okay. But she replaced all of the paper towels, and that was so nice. Because it was like a quarter of the little journal. I mean, it was a tiny one. I don't know if it's around somewhere. But it did dry out. It got all dry because she replaced it, and like I can read every single page. And so yay, recovered that journal. And yeah, I was like, that was like, that'll be the last time I don't use a write in the rain journal on trail. Because that was like just silly of me to get that wet. And I knew, one of my friends even gifted me a write in the rain, and then I just like couldn't find it in moving right before the trail, and so I didn't end up using it. Anyways, I'm so glad that I still have that journal. When your daily purpose is no longer there, it can feel like a loss, and your soul spirit is looking to be nurtured by on the daily basis. Yeah, definitely. Like it's just so amazing how intensely purpose driven through hikes are. It's just like your main purpose is to go and hike, and I mean, it's to enjoy nature and to connect to people and to do all the things, but everyone, who's attempting a through hike is like trying to get from one end to the other, or one place to another, and that is like, you have to like really, it's just so different than being in normal life, because it's just not as clear. It's not always as clear as that. Oh, my sister just got on. She said, "I love your bangs." Thank you. They're fun. They're just, I don't know how to do them yet, so I'm like, they're kind of weird. Any word about the dog? So I haven't really checked back in about Tally, because last time I checked, the no-kill shelter had him adopted. So he was adopted by a family with tons of acres, and the owner of the shelter told me that, and she seems really trustworthy, so I feel like that's what happened. And I feel sad that like he and I weren't able to be reunited, because like when I watch those videos, or just think back to having him on the trail with me, it was just like, he was so sweet, and it was just like, he just like chose me, and it was so cute. And I miss having like a little furry companion. But I think I'm happy that he's somewhere, and like I can't even imagine trying to take him through New Hampshire and Maine, like, especially because I don't know what to do with dogs. So I think it worked out for the best for him. But yeah, thank you for the congratulations. I'm still so excited. It was so fun sharing my journey with you guys. So thank you so much for everyone who's messaged me and shared a little bit about your story, and like why you're interested in my videos. Like, it's so cool. Like, a lot of you are planning a through hike or reliving your through hikes, and it's just really a really exciting space. The Appalachian Trail is so special in that way. Okay. One of the comments is, "Hi Stella, curry recipe video with tutorial, please. I'm in need of new recipes." Oh, that would be so much fun. I love making curry, and I would love to make a curry recipe video. Will you do a video about your gear, what you liked and what you would change? Yes, definitely gonna do a gear video. And so many videos hopefully to come about just like talking about different things about the trail. Like, you guys have given me so many ideas in the comments of like what you would want to see. And I have so many things to talk about, like, and to just like reflect on and share with, and hopefully help you prepare. Because like when I was preparing for my through hike, I was watching like Taylor New Hampshire hikes, like all of her videos, and I learned that like, oh, I can start in February. Like, I learned that from YouTube. So I hope that I can help provide like some of that information too, just based on my experience in the next few weeks. I think I'm gonna start doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. I think and then still like 7 a.m. I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. I am kind of wanting to up my video quality, but then also still kind of do some hiking vlogs, like informative, and also still take you along with me when I go out hiking, because I live in Colorado now, so I'm still gonna do tons of hiking. Like I said, I want to do like a section hike of the Colorado Trail this summer. So, are you now writing a book? I'm not at the moment. I have thought about like the kind of through hiking book I would want to write, and just, I would love to write a book that was like about connection, and connecting to the trail, to nature, to yourself, and to the community. And I thought a lot about that from my prior experience through hiking, after through hiking the PCT and half the CDT and lots of other little things. But I don't really know. I think I need to like process my experience, my connection experience that I had on the Appalachian Trail and kind of compare it to the Pacific Crest Trail and kind of mull through all of these different ideas I have. But I think that would be really fun to attempt. Connection is key to happiness. Yes. What is the toughest 100-mile section? Okay, well, I would definitely say that the 100-mile wilderness was so hard. Like, I think that was the toughest because even though the terrain got like, it wasn't as, well, was that the toughest? I don't know. It was so hard in New Hampshire and Maine because it was just so steep. The climbs were like walls. It was like you're climbing up a wall and then you're going down a wall and it's just crazy. But like if I had to pick a 100-mile stretch, I think the 100-mile wilderness, because it was just, the footing was so hard with the rocks. And I mean, you guys have all heard me say this because it was just so much with the rocks, roots, and the wetness and the bugs. And I didn't want to step in the mud, not because I'm afraid of the mud or I didn't want to get my feet muddy, because that's ridiculous for me because I can just rinse them off in a stream. Not a big deal, but it's a big deal to me when the mud is actually like calf or knee deep, which would happen sometimes because like you would put your trekking pole down and it would go down, 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 down. And I was like, okay, don't fall in this bog because it is going to suck you down, 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 down. So yeah. Okay. Thank you for the congratulations. Okay, please show a bit of the process to reserve shuttles and hostels from the trail. That's a really good idea. I think, quickly I can say, like, if you use the app Far Out, or I think AWOL's paper guide / PDF guide, because that's what Coyote used, and I used the Far Out app, you can get shuttle driver contact information right in the app. Sometimes there'll be a little icon for shuttle drivers in each little town, and then you can call them and you can check their rates, like how much are they going to charge. A lot of times the hostels will give you a list of shuttle driver numbers if that hostel isn't itself shuttling hikers. A lot of the hostels do shuttle hikers. So to find a shuttle, you would just ask a hostel in that town, or look in the app, and sometimes in comments, at the road intersection, a phone number will be left, like, there's a shuttle driver, named such and such, call them, and you can see which year that comment was posted, and then just message that shuttle driver and see if they're available, call them. There was only a few times where it didn't work out. So hopefully that helps, but I do want to make a whole video talking more about Far Out too, because if you don't have the Far Out app, it can kind of feel like this foreign idea of, I don't know, that's how I felt before. Far Out used to be called Gut Hook, and so before I got Gut Hook, I was like, what is it like to use Gut Hook? And I didn't want to buy it quite yet, and I don't know. So do you think that your high sodium intake on the trail contributed to your knee swelling? Possibly. I also would think that my high sugar intake, because sugar is inflammatory and I was eating a lot of sugar at that point on the trail. I think the biggest thing is that when they first got swollen in Pennsylvania, I should have taken a double or a 000, and I didn't take any zeros. I looked at my step count, how my phone, I think a lot of phones measure your steps every day in the health app. In April, the lowest amount of steps I took was 30,000. That's crazy. And I think I did that just because I wanted to push myself and see if I could keep uploading, editing, and not take a zero. like I wanted to find out if I could do that, just to find out, I guess, because a lot of this is like exploring my own physical limits, my spiritual limits, my mental, emotional limits, like, and so that's what I did, you know, like I pushed myself to see these things, not so that way I could be better than anyone else or I could be the fastest, because that's not my jam at all. I've always been very slow. I ran cross country in high school and I was the slowest runner on the team. But it was fun, and I learned not to cut corners and try hard, and to give it my all, and so anyways, back to the knee swelling thing. Yeah, I think I just needed to take a break, and I didn't. So, thank you for the nice comments. Okay, what is your favorite section of the AT? I think this is just so tough, and I might make a whole video about this, but I think as far as my memory is concerned right now, Virginia was my favorite section. Which is silly in some ways, because like it's known as like the Virginia Blues. Well, maybe not Virginia, maybe North Carolina, because North Carolina had the Smokies, and I think the Smokies were my favorite section, because there weren't any leaves yet, and I could see, it was like I climbed up onto the ridge, and then you stay on the ridge like the entire trail through the Smokies. And I just felt like that was so cool, because I could see, and that happened a lot on the AT. You were up on a ridge like quite a bit, but it just felt so memorable because it was so new on the Appalachian Trail for me. So I think it's between Virginia because of the hostels and North Carolina because of the Smokies. It was just like so beautiful. And I did love New Jersey because it came right after Pennsylvania. And not to say that there were no rocks in New Jersey, or it just, I don't know, like the weather mellowed out, like it just, all the things aligned to have like a really nice time in New Jersey. Yeah, I did really like New Jersey. So that's why I need to like go through and like remember all the sections, because it's just like, oh, it's all happened it happened so fast. It's hard to separate like, yeah, like which things I really loved. Okay, which trail was more difficult, the PCT or the AT? Definitely the Appalachian Trail. Oh my goodness. I think I did like half of the Appalachian Trail, and I was like by the time I had done half, I was like, this isn't as hard as like everyone makes it out to be. Like I was like way more nervous. Like I was like nervous because I thought the whole Appalachian Trail was like New Hampshire in my head. That's what I was picturing. But it's not, there are steep climbs the first half going south to north. But I was like in good shape. I was taking lots of zeros. Like the first quarter of the trail, I think I did in like 35 days. And if I would have continued that, I would have needed to finish in like 35 days or something. But yeah, I didn't do that. I did the first quarter much slower than I did like the last quarter and the last half. And I think that if I would have kept that up, I would have been physically better, like more happy, like happier. So let me look for some more questions. I'm like scrolling through on my phone. Oh, did your weight change? Okay. I definitely think I gained weight. Like I gained muscle, and then I gained a little bit of weight too, just like not too much. Like I think I'm pretty close to my like average size, but I definitely didn't lose weight. On the PCT, I lost weight. And on this trail, definitely didn't lose weight. So I feel like, yeah, that's just how it happened. Um, Thank you for the congratulations, those of you just hopping on. Um, oh, you loved the summit howling? Yeah, that was so fun. And we just do that for Coyote because I don't know why. It's like as soon as Coyote wasn't with Leffy and I, we just started like howling to like include him because, you know, coyotes, I guess, howl. um, yeah, let's see. Um, if you put a question in the comments that I haven't answered, you can put it in again so I find it easier. Okay, which thru hike has been the most enjoyable for you? Hmm. I think it's like the first half of every thru hike I do. The first 700 miles of the PCT were like my favorite. And then the first half of the Appalachian Trail were my favorite. Like, I think it would just get so much harder because like I just keep pushing myself and my body starts to break down. Like on the PCT, it was my feet. On the AT, it was my knees. So, but with each one, I'm like learning. Like I learned how to take care of my feet, which is why I didn't have as many foot problems on the AT. Some days my feet would hurt when I would do big miles, but I do think I learned like how to take care of my feet better for this trail, but then I didn't learn that I would need to like take care of my knees. So, did you ever just crave bacon along the trail? I don't think I've ever had bacon in my whole life, so no. Yeah, I've been a vegetarian since 2010 and 2018 after the PCT I went vegan. Then I went back to vegetarian a little bit on the CDT for like a couple months, but I went back to being vegan and then I went vegetarian for the Appalachian Trail. And it's just basically so that way it's like easier to eat and to have more variety. I am vegetarian right now and I might go back to being vegan, but I'm like the adjustment period, like readjusting to milk isn't always very fun. Like it's nice that like my body's used to milk again and cheese and everything. So, but I'm also really aligned with like not consuming animal products. So it's kind of a toss up. We'll see what happens. What do your parents say about your thru hikes? Well, hi mom, if you're watching this. She would watch my vlogs, so that's really nice. But you know, she's definitely worried about me and concerned and just wants me to be safe. But I think she was like so proud of me when I finished, and she's been really, really just supportive and encouraging. Even though it's like such a weird thing because she does feel kind of like, why don't you have a normal job? What are you doing? Why are you like spending all this time going hiking? But I think that she's kind of like understanding now that it's just kind of part of who I am. It's like I really like it. Okay, the river crossings you did in Maine were nuts. It got worse after you finished. Yeah, I saw that like some of the rivers, like the Kennebec River closed. That happened after I already crossed. So I think like Leffy and I and Coyote, like my whole little February bubble that finished, we got really lucky because it got way worse. There was like more and more rain. So yeah, I'm glad. I hope that everyone's just been safe and like trying to find safe routes for their like rerouting and stuff. Why did Leffy say you had hot dog legs? Okay, yeah, I don't know if I ever explained this, but like when my knees first started getting swollen, I said that they looked like hot dogs because remember those, they were like memes or something, but basically it was like you could put two hot dogs like next to each other in front of like a beach scene and it would look like someone's legs just poking out and like the person was laying down. You could just see their legs from the knees, like their thighs. I don't know if anyone else has seen tell me you've seen this in the comments if you know what I'm talking about, but basically my knees just became like square rounded shaped when they were bent because they were so swollen. And so I would joke around and say they looked like little hot dogs. And so then I just started calling them my hot dog legs and my hot dog knees, just to kind of make it more lighthearted and fun because it was just ridiculous that my knees were so swollen. And then somehow we became the hot dog pack. So Leffy really likes eating hot dogs. Like I think at the hostel or at one of the hostels for my birthday, he had like 6 hot dogs or something like in one sitting. And then Coyote did something else. And so somehow that was like sometimes like trail families have like a group trail name. Like on the PCT, I hiked with the Stormtroopers, and that was their trail family name. And I don't know, you just kind of make up a trail name for like groups of people. And me, Coyote, and Leffy were the hot dog pack because of my swollen hot dog legs. So it's like silly, and I know like everybody is different. The shape of legs is like so varied, but it was just like a silly, lighthearted joke about my legs. Oh, did Chase Mountain's workout really help you? Yes. So I should have been doing exercises from the beginning of trail because it's just hiking every day. It's just the same repetitive motions. You're working out. It just would have been so much better for my body if I had just taken 10 to 15 minutes, any number of those a day, even every other day, to do his stretches. Because yeah, they just like open up your hips and your knees and they get the blood flowing and circulating. I definitely noticed like my swelling started to go down after I started doing the stretching and then icing, and that really helped. And so yeah, I think that he's a great resource. Okay, so some people know what I'm talking about with the hot dog legs and like the the beach scene, or I can kind of see that in this. So silly. Okay, so I'm reading through some of these comments. How did you feel when you were recognized on trail by a viewer? Was it fun or were you freaked out? LOL. Yeah, good question. I think that like some people think that I would be freaked out and like that would be weird, but I felt like mostly like super excited about it. It just I started in February, so there was hardly any people on the trail for me. I would be out there when it was raining, and there just wasn't always people there. And so when I went through sections where there were a lot of people, or when I would meet some of you guys or be recognized, it was really fun for me because I got to hear some of your guys' story and kind of just get to bridge this gap of like I'm sharing with you who are actual people on the other side of these like little numbers. It's like, you guys are real. And so it's fun. It was really, really fun. It felt really special. That like you guys would choose to like, watch what I'm sharing. And I know my quality could go way up, but I did the best I could. And so it was fun to connect anytime that any of you, like a viewer came and said hi. I don't think I ever really felt creeped out. I think I would feel creeped out if like the general vibe of the person was creepy, not necessarily the fact that they watched my videos or not, or like knew who I was. It was more just like, are you someone that makes me feel, or that like has like an uncomfortable aura around you, maybe of like really high negativity or something like that, that I would feel like, okay, I need to hike away from this person. Like I need to get away because there's just some weird energy. But that was like maybe one out of many. Okay. Aw, I loved meeting you at the Stumble Inn. It keeps like Stinkbug and Butterfly say hi. Hi. Would you ever do a Sobo hike on the AT? So I definitely think the southbounders have like a really good advantage of getting the hardest part of the trail done, which is New Hampshire and Maine, I think. But that's also, you're doing the most challenging part of trail at the very beginning. So I think like if you're coming into the trail in shape, like ready, prepared, like you know how your backpack feels, your legs have been hiking or on the Stairmaster or something, like I think a Sobo, I mean, people do so southbound hikes right off the couch all the time too. But I think that the best case scenario would be to do a southbound hike that like would be really, really great. Cause then you still have like bright-eyed, bushy-tailedness of the beginning of the trail where everything's exciting and new because you're doing something awesome and it just feels so good and you're not too beat down yet. Like that's what I experienced at the beginning of trails, I think. And so southbound would be pretty cool. Okay, would you change your tent selection for your next hike? So if Leffy didn't become like our partner, like join the group, Coyote's tent, I think was just a one person. He might have had a 2-person tent, but one time I asked him if the bugs were really bad, if I could sleep in his tent. He was like, you can sleep in the vestibule. So that's funny. And that was totally fine. But Leffy let me sleep in his tent. He definitely had a 2-person. It was a big one. And so that was nice and easy. If that wasn't the case, I definitely would have sent for my tent. Like it was at my sister's house. And I would have had her send it to me on the trail. So that way I could be hidden from the bugs. That was the main thing because, and I guess the rain too, especially as like the shelters, like at the end of the trail, it was finally, we weren't able to get shelters because they were full of Sobos. And that was like the first time on the trail that I really experienced that, because otherwise it was like, you're going to a shelter, you get to stay in that shelter because there's just no one else on trail or hardly anyone else. And so it's rarely full. Okay. So let me see, I'm kind of scrolling through some of these to get back to like where I was. Oh, thank you guys for all your comments. What was your favorite animal you saw? I think I liked the birds the most, which is because like the bird song was so beautiful every day. And there was a few that like, I remember learning what they were called. I think some of you told me, but now I forget. And so I'll have to look that up to find out what my favorite bird song was. But the birds just, it's been so noticeable actually. I think there are more birds here, and just like, there were some areas off trail that I've been like, oh, there's just no birds. And that feels like so weird after having months and months and months of like bird song every day. Oh, the bunny rabbit was pretty cool. Definitely loved seeing the bunny rabbit. Did you follow any fellow thru hiker, bloggers, New Hampshire, etc.? So I was kind of I wasn't really able to watch anyone else, but there were people that I knew about were vlogging before I started the trail. So sometimes I would like check in on them. I was watching like Laura Evelyn Ashley's videos. I think she like had some really terrible circumstances with her feet and then got off trail. So I was sad to hear about that. But it looks like she's doing some other fun things with her channel. And then definitely Taylor. I still haven't really, I've like been able to watch a couple of her videos like since I got on the trail, but I definitely watched her last year's just to get an idea, you know, of the trail and to see what it was like for her. And I think also Bad Bat, I remember watching her gear video before the trail and I was like, this gear video is so good. Like she did a really good job editing it. And then I actually met her on the trail like at the NOC or maybe right around the NOC. So that was pretty cool. But I haven't checked in on her videos and stuff so I don't really know exactly. Oh, and then obviously like the Dawn Outdoors and Sandra, like the Dawn Outdoors, I met on trail and then have watched some of his videos, and it was really great meeting them. So I think that's it. Some other people might come to mind. Okay, let's see. Do you know where Tally ended up? Yeah, so I kind of talked about that already a little bit. Just Tally was adopted by a family, and so I don't think they would give my contact information. I don't know. I didn't know Tally not long enough to be like, can I come visit? Like, that would be cool, but I don't know. It feels like maybe not. I don't know. Is Leffy finishing the trail? That's his plan. So he and I actually did a video that will go live, that will be posted soon. Just like, I kind of like interviewed him, and so hopefully you guys like that. I just thought it'd be fun to give you guys an opportunity to get to know him more, because he was, because we've been able to spend a good amount of time together post trail, just because our schedules are like a little bit more open. And yeah, so you'll find out if you kind of tune into that. What are your plans now for an income in Colorado? Good question. So I was actually able to make a little bit of money, like more than I expected, from YouTube during my hike. So I will make a whole video sharing like how much I made, and like while I was on trail, and because that ended up covering like most of the savings I had allotted for the hike. And so now I have, yeah, like a little bit of cushion to transition into something new. And my current goal is to try to grow this YouTube channel, because I think it'd be really fun to like empower other people that want to get outside, want to do thru hikes, want to connect to nature, want to connect to the thru hiking community. And I've hiked 6,000 miles now, like thru hiking miles, which is like mind-boggling, like when, how? But I feel like I have a lot, to share, and it would be really, really fun. It would be so much fun, and like my total ideal life to be able to grow a like hiking YouTube channel and become as big as Dixie one day, like it's very, very lofty, but I learned everything I know, like the foundations of what I know about thru hiking, from Homemade Wanderlust, who is like the channel name, and her name is Dixie, her trail name. And I'm sure so many of you have watched her videos, and she like makes a living doing this, like sharing her experiences, educating people online, and I would really love to do that. And I would also really love to like do one-on-one coaching and consulting for people that just want like to talk to a real person and not just learn everything from a YouTube video. And a lot of times people don't have like the time to research everything about gear, everything about resupply, everything about being and like it might be easier to just pay someone who can tell you that information. And so I'm kind of hoping to build that up and like be able to be that. I want to do a good job in that though. So I want to build up some resources, like some PDFs, and like build up my website, and make sure that gain some experience, and make sure that I I'm really confident that I would do a good job for people that I'm consulting or coaching for thru hiking or backpacking or anything like that, building confidence. Sorry if you can hear the dog that lives above me. I live in a basement apartment. But yeah, so I'm hoping that this will turn into my main job, and I'll be able to keep doing this. So we'll see. And thank you so much for your support. I really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, let me see if I can find some more questions. Oh, so someone asked if the elevation is a concern for Rocky Mountain National Park. Yeah, it's like the elevation is so high here. Like when I go hiking, it'll probably be at 10,000. Like I'll probably, start around 9,000 and then hike, who knows, all the way to 14,000 sometimes, if I do a 14er or whatever, but definitely an adjustment. I'm glad I'm starting out. I live in Fort Collins, so I don't know what the elevation is here, but it's not, I was living in Summit County last fall, and that's like much higher than it is here. So I'm building up my elevation tolerance, and so I hope not to get any altitude sickness when I do finally start hiking up here. But it is something to be cautious of, even for me. Like, I was born here in Colorado, and I used to feel like, oh, the elevation doesn't really affect me, I never feel anything, but now I definitely do. Like, I feel like as soon as I start going high, I get a stomach ache, and I don't feel like I definitely notice a difference. So, oh, is the Florida Trail a possibility? Just saw that question. It's always a possibility, you know. It's just like, it's so hard to know like where life is going to take me, and like the trails that are really going to like spark my interest and what happens. So I love Florida. I've just come to love it so much after living there for so long. And then it's not the mountains for sure, but the birds and the water and the trees, and there's like lots of goodness there. Let's see. Do a hiker's podcast. That would be really fun. I would really, and I have another thru hiking friend that lives in Fort Collins too. So there's lots of potential for thru hiking stuff. Actually, my upstairs neighbors hiked the PCT, and they're about to hike the AT. So that was so exciting that I was able to get connected with this apartment. I'm really, really excited about that. I don't know them. So I need to like spend time with them and get to know them, but I'm pretty sure because of that, we're gonna like each other. Thank you guys for all the encouraging comments. I'm trying to read through these. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your comments. There was another question about writing a book. I kind of talked about this earlier, but yeah, I would love to write a book someday, and we'll see if that happens. I didn't write as much poetry on trail as I thought I would, but that always happens to me. I did a lot more journaling, which was good than I expected. But the poetry, I thought like, oh, maybe I can write like one poem a day. I just was like so physically exhausted and kind of exerting myself that the poetry wasn't flowing like it normally does in normal life. Which is your favorite trail? I mean, PCT is my first love, so I gotta say the PCT, sadly, because I know all of you love the AT, and I love the AT too. It's a toss-up because they're just so wildly different. Do you feel like you learned more about yourself as a person on thru hikes? Yes, I definitely feel like I learned more about myself, a lot more about myself. And I also got to like become myself too through hikes. I don't know if that makes sense exactly, but I think I got to know, you know, my limits, what I like and dislike, what I miss most about normal life, what I love most about the wilderness, what keeps me coming back to like hiking despite the physical challenges, despite the weather challenges, like despite all the challenges, I still want to do it, you know? Like it was like, oh, a week after the trail's over and I'm already like, when am I gonna like hike again? And what is that gonna look like? So definitely, if you have the opportunity to do a thru hike, I would highly recommend it because you do get to connect to yourself, your inner self, like so much, and just kind of learn more about like what you're capable of and what your needs are. And it's just like, it's a beautiful thing. Oh, I'm so glad to be an inspiration. Like a lot of you have said that, and I just like really appreciate it. I feel like a very normal person. Like I feel like I just like get out there and walk every day, and it doesn't, I don't know. but I know that like it's hard to get out there and it's hard to like finagle time in life to do it. And so looking through these, do you use your math skills in the future? I mean, I use my math skills as a teacher, but not really like, I don't know, the math that I enjoyed was like computational, like I like really loved, you know, like differential equations when all the math was like a page long, handwritten, you know, and all of that I've like forgotten by now. But I like math in that sense. I don't know if you guys missed it. I have my undergraduate degrees in math. So I think that that's where that question came from. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to teach, but I might like tutor on the side or like do some like odd jobs to fill in while I'm doing my YouTube channel and see like just like how that goes. Oh, someone said Fort Collins is 5,000 feet high. So cool. Thank you for that. Alpine skiing, ski skinning, high peaks. That would be very cool. I'm not a winter sports person. Like I don't know how to ski or snowboard. I like ice skating. I like normal skating. And then I also, so that's like, yeah, very intimidating to the idea of getting into like backcountry skiing and stuff. I did already talk about the dog, Tally. Thoughts of owning and operating your own hostel. That would be so cool. That would be really, really, really fun. Definitely. I think it would be so cool. There were so many cool hostels, like mind-boggling amount of hostels on the Appalachian Trail. And I feel really, really thankful I got to visit so many of them. It would be really fun, definitely. But I'm in Colorado, so I don't know if it would be like my ideal work though, because I am pretty introverted. Like I like my time alone. Yeah. Okay, do you feel like vlogging your thru hikes makes them more difficult with the pressure of editing and uploading? And would you vlog again on another hike or just enjoy it for yourself? I do think vlogging makes it like it introduces a new challenge, but it also introduces like new types of like comfort and reward. And I like vlogging a lot because I get to like capture my memories of the day and like capture the things that stand out to me the most. And then I get to share like how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And then that helps, hopefully on the other end, you guys be able to get to know what it's like to do a thru hike and what it might be like for you, because I watched so many vlogs. So anyways, the vlogging does make it more challenging, but it didn't feel like, the only reason it felt like a burden was because like if I took a 0 day, half of that 0 day would be spent editing and uploading. And then there's like the added pressure of if that town doesn't have good Wi-Fi, then it gets a little bit like anxiety, like, oh no, like how am I gonna get these uploaded? It's taking 8 hours just to upload one video. But there were so many trail towns on the AT that it really was like so much easier than on the CDT. And I definitely think it's worth it. I think you should do it if you're at all interested in vlogging your AT hike. And like, you'd be surprised, you know, like it's just nice to see the trail through different perspectives, you know, different people's experience. Okay. Have you ever thought about hiking in other countries? Maybe not as through hikes, but the Camino in Spain is very beautiful. I would love to hike the Camino. Kendra, the girl I was talking about earlier, one of my best friends, she was like really wanting us to do it next year together, or like a short section of because there are like many different routes for the Camino that you could take. I'm not sure exactly, but I would definitely love to do some shorter hikes. I really want to have some dedicated hikes where I'm just going at a more easy, like where I'm going at an easier pace and I'm like enjoying it, where I'm like finding the swimming holes and I'm swimming and I'm lounging, and then I'm like hiking up to the top of a beautiful peak, you know, and just like shorter, and then where it's not so like, this is so hard, you know? So hopefully I'll be able to do some of that, like the rest of this year and then some of next year, and then probably another challenging one, you know, where I'm like pushing myself. Are you happy you started early even though that meant you were hiking alone a lot? Do you think you'd ever want to do a hike in the bubble just for a different experience? That's a really good question. I am happy I started early. I do like that the trail was empty. I do feel sad that I missed out on making a ton of friends and like building like a bigger trail family. But I also feel like I would be really intimidated to start in the bubble. Like I kind of just like, I think the idea of it is more intimidating than it would actually be. Like the idea of like being surrounded by so many different people, it feels like, that thought feels like I would be really spread thin. But I think like in reality, it would probably be fun and I would be fine. So it would be a fun like experiment to like maybe even just do like a section in the bubble. But most of my hikes have been like ahead of the bubble. Like I usually always start early. So it would be interesting. Okay. What apps do you use to edit your videos? So I just use iMovie. That's it. And then I use Canva to edit my thumbnails, like the picture on the YouTube videos. Your AT experience would make for a great documentary. Oh, that would be awesome. I would really love to make one. Like, I think it would be fun to do like a whole video, like one video that's like my whole hike. And I'm definitely gonna do that. I just need to start working on it. Okay, trying to read through some of these. Do you feel like the last week took longer than the average week on the AT just since the end was coming? I think it took long because it was hard. Like, it was just really hard. So, yeah, that's like kind of a tough question to answer, I guess. Oh, how's Ben? I think he's doing well. I think he is, and he did move to Italy, I think. So we haven't chatted too much, but from what I know of, he's like doing great, exploring and traveling before and then getting settled into his new work life. Do you have your triple crown now? I don't have my triple crown yet, so I have my double crown. I have 2 trails done and then half of the CDT. So PCT, AT, and then half the CDT. So, which cell phone provider did you use? Do you think AT&T or Verizon has better service along the AT? I have Verizon, and so I think it had pretty good service, but I don't remember the other service providers that like Leffy and Coyote had. So I can't really answer that. Did you do any work for stay at the huts in the Whites? I did not. I didn't stay in any of the huts, and that was like definitely a bummer because they looked so cool. But some of them weren't quite open yet. And then some of them were full of staff, and none of them were actually like lined up with the miles. So I think we stayed at one where we stayed at a tent platform outside of a hut, but we didn't stay in the hut. And we got there pretty late, so I don't think we even asked for work for stay. And it was like a really popular one. So that would have been very cool to stay in huts. I did like getting hot chocolate from the huts sometimes. That was nice, but there was no hot soup. There was no hot food, there was only like snacks and hot drinks for sale at the huts for us because we were too early. What would you do differently if you could do it again? If I could do it again, I would take more zeros earlier, like in Pennsylvania. Hot soup is so good, and I was so sad they didn't have hot soup because we didn't know for sure if there would be hot soup. Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting question. Would having a bigger network family of friends on the East Coast or having sponsors have made life better? I think like it would be absolutely amazing and stunning to have someone like in an RV like traveling along the trail with you, and then together you guys could stay in hostels, together you could do trail magic together, like having that like being sponsored in a way by someone like driving along in an RV. That would be amazing. That would be like a dream. But so in that way, I think it would have been easier just to have like, know that like, okay, I can make it to this obscure road crossing and stay in an RV. Like that definitely could have made it easier. Lots of you coming to say congratulations. I really appreciate that. I feel so thankful and so lucky that I was able to make it still. Like, it just feels so good. Is it weird going back to normal life? Yes. It's weird, but also really good, because I think through hikes, you just get so deprived of normal things. Less so on the AT because you go into town so much, and like being in hostels so much, you take a lot of showers still. But like on the PCT, there were way less showers, way less hostels and stuff, at least when I did in 2018. But I think still in general, just hiking all day, going to the bathroom in the woods, not, just like all like sleeping outside. It does makes you really appreciative for like normal life things, very, very simple normal life things. After all your long hikes, how long does it usually take for your hiker hunger to dissipate and return to normal? That's a good question. I think it just depends. Like, I don't think I was that ravenous at the end of the AT because I had started to slow down quite a bit. But after the CDT, after the section hike on the CDT, and I think probably like a week. And do with that with what you will, it's like, do I just keep eating like thousands of calories? I tried not to, like I tried to eat like in accordance to how much my body was moving, which was like not that much. So I just tried to eat normal. Would you ever consider walking the entirety of the Great Wall in China? Whoa. I mean, that would be amazing. I mean, I don't know anything about what that would be like, but maybe. My bangs are weird. What's your age again? I turned 33 on the trail, so love being in my 30s. I think it's super fun. Did hiking alone make you consider quitting the trail? No, I feel like I was way more confident and comfortable while I was alone than any of my other hikes. Like at the beginning of the trail, I knew going in that I didn't want to, I wanted to feel comfortable without a trail family and like doing it on my own and like sleeping alone at night in shelters and my tent or my tarp or whatever. And I'm really thankful because I did feel that way. It felt like, okay, like I am just comfortable out here. I feel thankful that I feel so comfortable. And that was really nice. And oh my gosh, thank you for your support. What happened to your dog? Okay, so I'll answer the question. I kind of feel bad that I was like, oh, I already answered that, and then I just jumped to another question. I was like, oh, that was kind of rude. Didn't mean to be rude, but yeah. So to circle back to the Tally thing, Tally was adopted by a family from the no-kill shelter that I took him to. So I think he should be doing well, but I haven't like checked in. I'm not really sure if I would be able to, just because he's like adopted by a family. But that family's like supposedly has like hundreds of acres for Tally to run around in. So I'm just hoping that he's happy. Were you much faster than your average bear? Oh, definitely. I could just like outrun a bear, you know. No. I hiked pretty slow towards the end. Like, actually, I need to make a video out of this like video clip I have, but there was like this one log crossing in Maine, where I like used my poles like this, and I went so slow. Like, it took me a full like 30 seconds or maybe even a minute. I think it might have taken me a full minute to cross the stream across these like two flat logs. I was going really slow, and then Leffy did it right after me in 10 seconds, and we have both of the clips. And like when I rewatched that, I just was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how, but I didn't want to fall, and I had just fallen in that stream, and like, but it was like hilarious. And so I need to share that with you guys because I started going like really slow. I just was cautious. I don't like falling, so I would just go slow. And then also my knees were in pain, so I was just a very slow hiker. The South Island in New Zealand has some great trails and spectacular scenery. Think of the Lord of the Rings background. Yes. Yeah. Would definitely love to hike in New Zealand. And hi, Michael Power. I'm so thankful for all of your stats. If you guys don't know, in the comments, like almost on all of my videos, Michael Power has been leaving the stats of my hike in the comments, and it's been awesome. And like, we've enjoyed all of his commentary, and I mean, so many of you too have actually left so many beautiful and wonderful fun comments too. But just wanted to say hi, give him a shout out for, I meant to do that on trail, but for all of those stats, we called him my statistician. So thank you for being my statistician, Michael. And then others. And then there was someone else actually who messaged me, and he sent me like more stats. And that was like, it's just so cool. It's awesome. It's so cool. Let's see. Yeah, he was like WikiNix. Yeah, he was. Okay. Okay, what's Leffy doing now? Leffy's actually visiting now, but he's not here. So he's visiting. So we were able to make some, like a video together and hang out. It's been awesome. And he's going back to work soon. Just wanted to wish you the best in whatever you choose to do. Thank you so much. I should probably wrap this up actually. This has been really fun. I definitely want you guys to know that I'm so thankful for you, and you made a big, big difference in my hike. Like, I felt like I could read through my comments on days that were like when I was alone and sad or excited, and just like all the full range of emotions. Like, I could look to my comments and connect with you guys, and it felt like you elevated my experience of the trail. And it feels so unique to the Appalachian Trail, because I don't think there are as many people that follow the vloggers like you guys do. Like, I think you could be your own community of like, we're all the people that follow all the AT vloggers. Like, you are a cool community, and I'm so thankful to connect with all of you. So hopefully the connection will continue as I keep like, you know, sharing more about my gear and my resupply and my experiences, in hopes that will help you guys, you know, and like your turn, because it's, you know, a lot of you are preparing for your thru hikes and that's so exciting. And so hopefully, yeah, we'll just like keep connecting, and let me know if you want me to do another live, or I think like, yeah, I think 3 days a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, is what I'm hoping to start, hopefully next week. And then like in the mornings, 7 a.m. Eastern is kind of like what you can expect. I was also considering starting another channel called like maybe like Stella Hikes at Home or something like that, where I share more of my like home life, because I watch vlogs like that. So, but that might be like more, I don't know. I don't know how much like workload like I'll be able to do. So let me know what you think, and definitely connect with me on Instagram if you haven't already. And otherwise, I really enjoyed this chat, and thank you so much. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.